Right, so The Fighter, which has been nominated for 6 Academy Awards, and as I quote again, has a poster on the London Underground saying, "The greatest boxing film since Rocky."
Yes.
Now, that, if you look closely, that says Esquire next to it.
Esquire.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Esquire
Magazine
Magazine,
of some description.
I emailed the magazine 2 weeks ago asking them
What the bloody hell they
who
thought.
wrote that quote. And could you send me the article
Christian
or tell me
Bale.
where I can find the article? They have yet to respond.
It's like they've got nothing else to do over there.
So, I can only speculate as to who wrote that article.
I think you should speculate furiously.
But let me just say, right, so if it's the greatest boxing movie since Rocky, one is ignoring Raging Bull. Because Raging Bull came out 5 years after Rocky, right?
Good work.
So there are 3 reasons why this is the greatest boxing movie since Rocky, according to this person, right? 1, they've never seen Raging Bull, yeah? 2, they didn't like Raging Bull. 3, they've never heard of Raging Bull. All of those reasons...
The trifecta of stupidity right there.
All of those reasons indicate that whoever wrote that review is not of the calibre that should be quoted on that poster. But anyway, essentially the film tells the story of... the true story, apparently, inspired by true events.
Oh, of course.
I always like that. What thing ever isn't inspired by true events?
Smurfs.
Like, even the Wizard of Oz is inspired by true events. The guy lived a life and then wrote a book. Like, you know, anyway. Inspired by true events of Mickey Ward, who's a boxer whose elder brother named Dickie and Mickey. Okay.
Wow. Okay, I missed that.
Is used to be a big fighter, and he did a few rounds with Sugar Ray Robinson and knocked him out and whatever. And he trades on his local celebrity, and he's kind of past it now, and he essentially just uses it for sex and drugs. And Mickey is trying to be a boxer in his own right, so he's struggling to be his own man in the shadow of his brother, who's now his trainer. And it's will he be able to get the big fight and get his chance at glory, or will he simply live in the shadows? Would you like to hear a clip?
Okay.
This is a clip of Amy Adams as his girlfriend, and they're having an argument.
Alice, this is Charlene.
Hi.
I've heard a lot about you.
Really, I've heard a lot about you, too.
What's that supposed to mean?
Same thing you meant.
Can we just sit down and talk about business?
Got another fight, Mick? Just like I said I would.
Joe Belink. 6 weeks in Foxwoods. You know, and they're gonna pay us 20 grand.
17.5.
Right, 17.5. She's still good money, Mick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, Dick. I'm just, trying to figure out what's best for me.
Like what?
Like, maybe you not showing up on time to train. Like maybe him having to come find you in a crack house when you're supposed to be at the airport.
I'm sorry. I don't know who you are. Why are you talking?
I'm Charlene. We just met. We're together. Do we need to do this again? Hi, I'm Charlene.
What are you gonna do, Mick? Listen, some MTV girl works in a bar? What's she know about boxing?
I know. They're going to Vegas and getting paid to train year-round. Sounds a hell of a lot better than what you got him doing here.
So the comparisons with things like Rocky and Raging Bull are important, because if you're familiar with these works, then what you have here is essentially a very derivative story. So it's, you get a couple of teaspoons, you get the sibling rivalry from Raging Bull, put that down. Get a couple of 100 grams of, the down and out loser Rocky, can he get to the big time, pour that in the bowl, stir it around, take a hefty garnish of the wrestler, of this whole using one's body and having to kind of live through the body, all this sort of stuff, get that in there, mix it all around, and so you kind of, and it's essentially like someone, that'll
Baking
win.
the Odeon for 90 minutes.
And then I think so. You sort of watch. You go, I've seen that bit. Yeah, you're gonna chase a chicken around at any point? Oh no, you're not. Okay. When's Mickey Rourke showing up? Because I like him. No, he's not coming. All right.
Do they have a montage at any point?
Is there a montage? Yes, there is a montage.
Brilliant.
There is a montage just before the fight. The final
where
fight.
he's getting better, of course, in the gym.
Yeah. I mean, and I've given you the setup. I'm not going to spoil anything. Moxie, you have not seen this film, have you?
No.
Right. Guess what happens.
He loses, but then at the end he wins, and it's a true underdog story, and everyone's happy.
What about the down-and-out trainer brother who's addicted to drugs? What happens to him?
I imagine he'll get clean.
Right.
In some capacity.
And what about the relationship between the two of them?
I think he'll be alright.
Yeah? I mean, who knows if that happens or not, but that's Moxie's guess.
That's utterly me guessing.
Right.
I really haven't seen it.
So you do kind of watch it and
but it doesn't sound like a stretch.
I've seen these films before, and I kind of wish I'd be watching them. The other problem with the film is there's this subplot, involving the main character Mickey's relationship to his family, his mother is played by Melissa Leo, who's been nominated for it, Best Supporting Actress. And essentially, the premise is that this boxing is the family business, so to speak. The brother did it, and now this one does it. And so there's a sense of this. There's this mother and this gaggle of daughters that she's produced, and essentially, do they live off Mickey's success? Are they exploiting him for their own gain? And the whole thing is a bit. There's such a thing as poverty porn.
Okay.
Right, and what it is essentially you get loads of Hollywood rich.
Look how poor they are.
Gets loads of Hollywood rich liberals, and you get them to play Southern conservative redneck, and then you show it to a bunch of other liberals who will go, "Oh, isn't this very interesting? What they're doing there? So if you want an example of poverty porn, watch Precious, based on the novel Push by Sapphire. If you think that's a silly title, that's what it's called. So that doesn't sit well with me either. However, having said all of that, despite all those things, despite how derivative it is, I'd be lying to say that I didn't partially enjoy myself. And the reason is, probably Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg as the two brothers are very good at it. Christian Bale seems to be back on form after a year of just doing the Batman voice in things. And Mark Wahlberg, I like Mark Wahlberg. A lot of people are a bit down on him. But I'm a fan. Amy Adams, I think, is always terrific. I love her in things like Enchanted and Junebug, Drop Dead Gorgeous. She's brilliant actress. It's old, well-trodden territory, but I guess there's a reason this story is repeated so much, and that it's essentially quite engrossing and quite gripping.
Hit him.
I mean, I find it fascinating in a sort of repellent, awful sort of way, because I don't really like boxing, and that's why I like Raging Bull so much. But nevertheless, Rocky and things like that are fascinating nonetheless. So it's a sort of, essentially a passing okay good sort of, it isn't the best boxing movie since Rocky.
Right.
It isn't Raging Bull. It isn't even $1 Million Baby. It's not even Ali. It's not even Rocky 3. But hey, it's all right. It's all right.